I found everything. Mm-hmm. And I found that some of these ministers were Jesuits, some were Illuminati. Mm-hmm. The mafia falls under the Jesuit side, so you can't be a mafia and Illuminati at the same time, but they could also be CIA, FBI, NSA, foreign intelligence, and so forth.
Of the ministers in the United States, Ugene, who do you think is, say, the chief Illuminist? Who's the chief?
That's Billy Graham.
Billy Graham, okay, he's at the top, huh? Well, he's getting ready to check out, ain't he?
Well, I was told that he was at that gross mass ceremony on my family. Quite a few ministers of Worldwide Church of God. I was told Pat Robertson, Benny Hinn, Deepak Chopra.
Really?
And the rest.
Is Oprah going to be there?
Oprah, I don't know if Oprah Winfrey was there.
Yeah. Well, you think she's Illuminati or just screwball? I don't know where that comes in under Illuminati.
You're saying Oprah, but who else? Who are you referring? Oprah's a woman.
Oprah Winfrey. I mean, she as a woman, she don't qualify or what?
No. I don't know if she was there. I don't know if she is connected with this operation.
All right.
The way you would find out is get one of those reverse speech tape machines or get the software and put it on your computer. Learn how to do it. And start checking these people.
Okay. What do you know about Obama? Barack Obama?
Not very much at all.
Okay.
Very, very little. Just what I see on television.
Okay. So you cannot tell whether or not he's part of the MKULTRA project?
I don't believe he is. But, it's like I said, I know very little about him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. These ministers, are you saying that if they're in positions of power, say like you mentioned Pat Robertson, Benny Hinn, what would they be doing in their ministries to facilitate either the takeover of the congregation or the programming of the congregation? What would you expect to hear from them that would be mass hypnotism or however else to all the people that go there to carry out the edicts of their secret agreements or their organizations? What would you go there and you would hear say, this is direct from the Illuminati headquarters? Would it be like send us money? Would it be the Illuminati?
It's no linguistic programming for the most part. Okay, they will preach the Bible and they'll get you off track. I mean, when Lucifer got Eve in the Garden of Eden to get off track, he's just trying to get you off track. They're trying to get you off track. They'll talk about love, grace, repentance, forgiveness, but they will never push when Jesus said, if you want to give to me, give to the least of the brethren or the downtrodden, because they want your money.
All right.
If you go to a church and they got 3 screens up on the wall showing the preacher from 3 different directions, that's definitely part of how it's done.
That's called idol worship, isn't it?
Well, this feel-goodism. I don't know if Joel Osteen's connected with this or not, but I suspect he is. It's feel-goodism. They want you to feel good about yourself. And my understanding of... Say again?
You know Joel Osteen's involved with that.
I have not checked him. I suspect him. I have not inquired about him, but I plan to.
Yeah.
They don't want you. See, Jesus came along and he said, okay, guys, we gave you the 10 Commandments, we gave you the law of Moses, but you can't keep it. I'm proving it. You're a bunch of hypocrites. So I'm going to keep it simple, stupid. I'm going to give you 2. Love God with your whole heart, mind, body, and soul. Love your neighbor as yourself. And how do you prove these 2? You go do works of charity for people in need. You don't give your money to these big organizations that want you to send you all their money so they can sit there in their 3-piece suits, their air-conditioned offices, their expense accounts, their brand-new cars, and their corporate jets.
Okay.
That's not God's work.
Okay.
Do something for somebody in need.
Okay. Ugene, this week I had a couple of discussions with you, and during those discussions, you told me about how that you were taken to Area 51. Let's start talking about that. How did you get there? What were they doing with you there, and what did they show you there?
Well, I was traveling from, in 2003, I was traveling from California to Florida, and they had me stop by Area 51. They wanted more tissue samples, blood, sperm, that kind of thing.
Ooh.
And naturally, it got inside my head. This was at a mind control level.
All right.
And 4 of the scientists took me down to sublevel 1.1, which makes me think that there were at least 10 of those sublevels. These are mile-round are mile diameter, round underground structures.
Okay.
Here in level 1.1, and everywhere I see it's baby girls from infant to 15 years old. And the Greys are running around doing their little thing. They're about 4 foot tall, and when one would want to download information to the other, they just touch foreheads like ants. And they have elaborate respirators on, and gloves, and, you know, those white scientific things.
Yeah.
And I'm going, what are these little girls doing here? And they said, oh, no, these aren't girls. These are clones. God didn't create them. We did. And I said, where did those Greys come from? And I said, well, we believe that most of the technology came from pre-flood man. And we've actually been able to, this is a scientist speaking, we've been able to make the Greys better than what crashed at Roswell, but we can't duplicate the anti-gravity devices. And I go, really? Tell me more. Show me more. They said, well, this is a total green facility. We take the excrement from these girls and we use it, make fertilizer out of it for underground hydroponic gardens. And I said, really? They said, you know, you can even have sex with them if you like. We'd like you to impregnate as many as you'd like. I said, these little girls? They go, no, these aren't little girls. These are clones. I said, do you have sex with them? They go, well, yeah, several times a day if we want. And I said, these girls? I said, no, they're clones. I said, oh, so these are just blow-up dolls with more features. Well, yeah. And one of the scientists looked like he was around 60. I think he was much younger than that, but he was white as snow. His eyes were sullen.
Right.
Every one of these scientists had crazy eyes. Like if you saw the movie Independence Day, that scientist at Area 51.
Yeah, with the screwed-up hair, crazy eyes,
Yeah, they had crazy eyes, like serial murderers, rapists, pedophiles. And, you know, after they said they want to have sex with them, I said, not right now. I said, show me more and tell me more. And then they took me down to the bowels of this place.
Ooh.
Down to sub-level 21.1.
Whoa.
This is where they had... Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just said, whoa.
And they had, in sub-level 21.1, they had... The whole place had aisles and full of cages. With they were part human, they were part animal, they were part insect, they were combinations thereof. Some of them could talk, and they'd say, come help me, help me, help me. And when you walked over the cage, they'd reach out and try to tear your head off. And the ones that were more animal insect, they'd be charging the cage every time you walked by. And I go, what's this? What are you doing here? And they said, well, we're gathering data. I said, why? To gather data. And I said, well, what happens when you gathered enough data? They go, oh, well, the experiment ends. I said, what do you mean it ends? Well, it ends. And he's looking at me with this, I mean, these guys were crazy. I mean, and smiling, grinning, and looking at me. There were 2 armed guards with us. And I said, oh, you turn them all into fertilizer. Oh, well, yeah. I said, well, how do you do that? This take forever to take these things out and kill. Oh, we just gassed the whole floor. I said, you just gassed this whole floor when you gather enough data. Yeah. And then you turn them into fertilizer. Yes. I said, I don't have a problem with that right now. Show me more. Tell me more. And so then they took me, I might have been taking tours of some of the other sub-levels at this point in time. I don't remember. But then they took me to sub-level 5.1, where it had the control room for the whole facility.
Oh, okay.
And I'm looking out, it's round in the center, and I'm looking out as far as you can see, rows and rows and rows of beds.
Did you say pets?
Beds.
Oh, beds, okay.
Yep. And there's Greys all over the place doing this. In each and every one of those beds was a 15-year-old girl who was pregnant. I'll call them girl. They call them hosts. I go, what is this? They're hooked up to all kinds of elaborate life support. I said, what is this? They said, well, this is where